Welcome back to From Nine to Mom,
where we discuss balancing the 9 to 5 hustle with the beautiful chaos of motherhood. And I'm super excited today. We have my sister-in-law, Rachel, on with us today. Rachel's been with my brother since he was 12. So it's really hard to explain how well we know each other, probably better than most individuals. And I'm just very grateful to have her in my life to take care of my brother. He's a great guy, but he's a little crazy. So Rachel, thank you for that. But also Rachel is a mom of two. She's a former teacher. She got her master's in education with Clemson University. She did it while she had a newborn, which always amazed me. And then she made the brave decision to stay home with the kids while they were little. But she just embarked on a new journey, and she is now a Travelmation travel agent and is booking all the vacations for us crazy people out here. So Rachel, welcome. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me. That was such a nice introduction.
That's the nicest she's probably ever been to you.
I mean,
Not
wow.
true. That's not true.
That's not true.
But in true motherhood fashion, we were talking to Rachel earlier this morning. So new business, she's coming on the podcast, excited. Not only does she have 2 kids home because school is canceled, thank you, Hurricane Debbie, but also a husband who's afraid of the rain. So, Rach, what's it like with 2 kids, a husband at home, really. 3 kids at home, and a new business venture?
We call it husband's kids.
Yes. It's like a day back in the life of 2020, I feel like. Which is kind of scary. But it's chaotic. I don't know how the 2 of you were ever able to manage working with your kids at home. Because this is new for me. I was just always been home with the kids, trying to keep them quiet enough for Joe when he'd be on calls. But now also trying to do my own thing and work with them is so hard. So you don't really get much done. You do what you can do, but it's good. And then the hilarious part of just not having school today with this weather, trapped inside. Joe also will not go to work yet because he's too scared of the roads. So we're all we're all living in it together.
One happy family. I remember when you and I and Joe and Jordan used to have hurricane parties. So before kids, instead of sitting home and doing mom podcasts, we would buy tons of booze the night before and make hurricanes and just use the day as a one big party. No work, no kids, all play. But this is a different life.
It is.
And we're a different time right now. And the reason we really brought you on here today is because we've been trying to do a chaos challenge. And part of this is organization of our lives, of our kids' lives, of our brains, our homes, all of it. And you are probably the most organized person I know, which to Katie is probably crazy because she is also very organized. But Rachel, you are the most organized person I've ever met. Anybody who's talked to her will. We all beg her to come over and help us organize our closets, our homes. It doesn't matter. So we wanted to have you on today to kind of help us learn about how we can be more organized, but also what keeps you going. So the first thing I want to ask you about organization is, have you always been such an organized person?
So no. Which is shocking. But my mom would say she remembers, and I kind of remember when I was younger, like not even being able to see the floor of my bedroom. It was literally covered in everything. Like
I didn't know this.
I know. And it did not bother me at all. But yeah, I was a complete slob, which honestly gives me a lot of hope for my own kids who are currently complete slobs.
They'll have a 180 at one point.
Yes. Because I do remember getting into like probably high school and then wanting to like have a strong urge to like be very organized. And maybe because I was just, involved in more things and I just felt like I wanted to come home to my room in my house in high school and just have it be neat and organized. So I definitely changed that. And then I have a really funny story in college. When the 7 of us, I had 7 girls all living in a house our junior year. And we, classic, you're moving in at first, there's all these bedrooms and we pulled straws and I pulled the smallest straw. So I got last pick of a bedroom, and I'm pretty sure my bedroom was the storage closet of the soccer team that had lived there before us. Like it was not even used as a bedroom. There's no way. It was so small. But after living there for 2 years, then all of my roommates told me afterwards, they were like, there's a reason you chose that small straw. No one could have made that space as welcoming and cute as you did.
No, that's probably true.
So like you were meant to have that room. So
You were like, great. I'm glad I got the small straw, guys, so that you could
yeah,
all just watch me flourish in my closet
in
room.
my small space, which still to this day, I flourish in small spaces. Like big spaces kind of overwhelm me. So
I feel that. Me too.
yeah.
Well,
So
I think that like kind of is surprising to me because I know you pretty well, and I didn't know that you used to be a slob. So
we did.
this gives even me, I'm not a slob, guys, but I'm not as organized as Rachel, but it gives me hope for myself in this
Yeah.
challenge that we can all do hard things, people.
You can always grow and change.
Maybe this is your moment.
This is your moment.
So like with that, how do you prioritize like now in your life that moment in college kind of clicked? That's
Mhm.
you knew you liked it, but like
Yeah.
how do you prioritize all the things that you need to organize now?
It's kind of whatever is probably like moving me at the moment. And I think we all agree with organizing, like you have to definitely be in a mindset and in a mood to do it. So it depends on the season, I guess. Like right now, like kind of going into kids going back to school, like this whole summer, I've just been dreaming about when they go back to school and I could start purging all the things that I want to purge without them being here because they're pretty good about not really being too attached to their things. And that's kind of how I am. I don't get like super attached to things. So all summer I've been noticing like things that they've just been less and less interested in. So I've kind of prioritized like that space right now to really focus on.
Okay.
And then my kitchen has recently been driving me crazy because Danielle knows our house was built without a walk-in pantry, which at first with the newborn didn't matter to Joe and I, but now with two kids and we're buying all this food constantly, we're like, we have no space. So we've had to like kind of reorganize that and turn our hall closet into a pantry. So I've been having so much fun doing that.
You guys have to see, you have to send us pictures to post online. So this was literally like a blank, like your coat closet in the hallway.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
has like pretty shelves and wall. And my brother's not the handiest, so lots of calls to Jordan. But like he did great with
So many
like
calls to Jordan.
the shelves and like there's some spots with wallpaper. But when you see this thing, Rachel, I've tried it. Okay, has everything labeled, like every single clear canister.
I do.
That's my
Is
dream. That's my dream.
it looks like
right?
a TV
Dream.
show.
Yes.
I have bins that I throw crap in and that my family still can't figure out what they're clear, what they're for. My ADD brain, it's got a bin for everything, but
Yeah.
they still struggle. But Rachel is just probably one of the more beautiful things I've ever seen. So you have to send us a picture. Everyone just aim for the
Yes.
skies. Do what Rachel does.
And that is very hard. Like you kind of have to sit with that for a minute too when you're organizing bins, I've noticed, because you don't really know, everyone's different. So you don't know like whatever you're buying the most of. Like we buy a ton of pasta and cereal because my kids love cereal. So like things that you know you're going to be buying a lot of, then you can start easily labeling your bins. Same thing with the toy room with my kids. I interchange those a lot actually because they were in a Paw Patrol phase forever. So we had a huge bin for Paw Patrol, but now we're like Michael's more into Monster Jam. So then I completely flipped. I've donated a lot of the Paw Patrol toys and now they're all, and he didn't really notice because I kind of hid them. And I'll talk about that, how I hide things for a long period of time. And then they just kind of forget about it.
That's what you got to do though. I
You
get
gotta
it.
do it.
I'm starting to get it anyway. It's like
Yes.
you have to move things in and out and get
Yep.
that. But
Mhm.
I think too, we kind of said about prioritizing the organization, but now that you're saying kids are back to school, you're starting to pick, where are you going to start?
Where am I going to start? Probably, well, definitely toy room. I've already kind of started
Yeah.
in the toy room, reorganizing that. And I usually, sometimes that happens now, but it also happens a lot at Christmas time and birthdays because that's also when they're getting like all new
Sure.
stuff. And I completely believe in everything has a home. So if something does not have a home, I either create a home for it, but if there's not enough to like join that item in the home,
Right.
it's axed, I guess.
Well, Rachel, that's such a good point though, because you just gave me some, Rachel, like Santa Claus came out with 2 garbage bags, snuck past her kids to give Daisy some new toys this week. And Jordan was like, what are these? Like more toys? I can't, but I'm now trying
Sorry,
to purge. But I promised that we'd find places for them. So I'm in that process right now of finding homes for everything in one room. And it's very stressful because kids have a lot of little things. And
Yes.
my
They do.
Kids are mini hoarders. Like Colton
Yes.
has an emotional, you said your kids aren't emotionally attached. He's my
Mhm.
child. So we're emotionally
Yeah.
attached to like, you know,
Everything,
this
anything.
little toy that we borrowed from someone 17 years ago, but it means something. So that's where I'm struggling. So for
Right.
things like that, like you said, you hide things for a long time. Like,
Mhm.
are there any other tips and tricks on how you do that? What if they ask for the toy? Do you give it to them back? Like, help us moms out who are not as good at that part.
Yes. This is going to sound horrible, but I'll lie typically, and I'll say
Okay,
like,
not horrible.
I haven't seen that in a while. I wonder what happened to it. I don't know. You know that meme where it's like the woman's like staring, like you're helping your kid look for something that you've thrown away like weeks ago. Like that's me. I'm literally fake helping
Okay.
them look for the things that I've gotten rid of. So yeah, I kind of do that, and they, like I said, they're pretty good about kind of moving on and forgetting. I am very
Mhm.
grateful because I know that that is really hard for kids who don't forget. But I actually I brought a little example to show, like we're talking about the little
The
knickknacks.
teacher in you. I love examples.
Yes.
Let's go.
I was like, this almost went in the trash last night. And then I was like, oh, this is actually a good topic to talk about in the podcast. So this is something that literally in my house has a shelf life of less than 24 hours.
I'm with
Like-
you though. I would be throwing that would be gone in my house as well.
Yes, like the little things that come in a treat bag from the birthday party, or you know, that come from a friend at school, and I'm like, yeah, that's not going to make it.
So I was just cleaning out my stuff, and there were like 5 poppets, and I put them all
Yeah.
together because, like you said, put them as a family. And I was planning on doing the same thing because we don't play with poppets all the time. And
Yeah.
Colton just got a new one
Yeah.
from his teacher, Mr. Mason. So I was like, he can play with that one. Do you know
Sure.
this kid found them, picked them up, and started playing with them and brought them to bed last night?
Good.
They're from
Like a
Christmas.
little Sherlock Holmes.
I know they're hidden. Like I'm like, I gotta do something here. But that's such a good point because treat bags are a big. Everyone loves them. The kids love getting them.
They love them.
Yes.
But they end up adding to your house. But
They do.
the best gift I ever got from a treat bag was Colton's little girlfriend. They gave out it was a frozen birthday party. We all got the frozen like sippy cups, like with they were like Camelback.
Cute.
They weren't Camelback brand, but they were like that. We still have that thing because it's got a use.
It's got a
for
purpose. Right. Totally. Those
But
are
if it
great
doesn't have
ones.
a
I love
purpose, 24-hour shelf life in your house.
24-hour.
I'm with
Okay.
you on that. I'm getting to the point right now. So, because my kids are still little, I had, Calvin's still kind of a baby. Everything's in his
Mhm.
mouth. So there's
Yes.
stuff that Jack wants to play with that I'm like, that can't get into Cal's hands because second kid, you just start, well, not paying attention, let's be honest, as much of what's going in that kid's mouth. But like
Totally.
poppets, I end up just tossing them because I'm like, I can't track it. Like I can't track it. It's got to be
Yep.
in the garbage because I only have out what they both can play with at this point.
That's true. That's so hard when you have the 2 different ages, and that is so hard when you're in that phase.
Yeah. I'm inspired though because I want to go through all of the toys because we have a lot of baby toys still, and Cal's not interested in like the flashing lights or the sound. Like he's not as interested in that stuff anymore. He wants to do like blocks and cars and that. But I'm curious for both of you because I have 2 boys. You guys have girl toys, boy toys. Like, do they intermingle? Because the funniest thing, when Danielle was just in town, we went to one of those play cafes and my boys beeline it for the Barbies.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like, I need that. So like they're
And the purse.
The purse. He was carrying the purse around, which like I'm
cute.
not one that cares, but like it's toys they've never seen. So they're like so intrigued. How does like the girl toys, boy toys intermingle at your guys' houses?
Yeah. So it's cute because they're starting to play together a lot more now. So, and they'll kind of take turns. Like Maura will ask Michael, do you want to play Barbies with me? And he loves to play anytime she throws him a bone. Like he's like, yes, I'll literally do anything to play with you. So he'll play Barbies all the time. And then same with Monster Jam trucks. Like he loves to play Monster Jam. And so she loves to do that with him. Cause again, it's different than their normal play that they would do on their own. So I think they enjoy like going back and forth between the 2. And like Michael for Maura's birthday bought her like a girl Monster Jam truck, or bought her.
That's so
Aw.
He picked
cute.
it out for her. It was cute.
That's awesome though.
So
Yeah,
it's
there was
cool.
a phase where he was like, all three of them will come downstairs from Rachel's house, like, because we get together a lot. So all three of them will come down in a princess dress, or all three of them will come down as PJ Masks or some like superhero. So there is a lot of intermingling, I think, especially now that they're all a little bit older. With Daisy, she's the youngest one, and honestly, Michael is the best. So Rachel's son is the best at playing with her. They're the closest in age, but he's he's just so good with her. So
he loves her so much.
Yeah, I feel like he's like very good at like intermingling there. But they play with whatever she's playing with. So it really is. I think that when you have a boy and a girl, the interests are clear. Like there's definitely, like Rachel said, Monster Jam and Barbie, or like with Colton, he's a builder. Like he likes to build and do Legos, Minecraft, Pokemon. Daisy has no clue what that is. She wants to carry around her purse and sing Taylor Swift, but she just wants to do what he's doing. Little sibling wanting to do what the older sibling is doing. So I think that there's a lot of that.
It's
and
more about
Katie,
that.
you're not here yet, but Rachel, I'm going to ask you this. No, we didn't preface, but crafts. Okay. Our kids love crafts.
Yeah.
They're at the age of crafting, Katie. You're going to be there. What do you do with all the craft stuff? Because I have a space.
The beautiful pictures they make for mom. Come on.
No. And I do love crafts, but I'm actually struggling with this too. Like where to keep it in my house. Like right now, it's actually like, it's in some bins in my like closet made pantry area right now. Because it's closest to the kitchen table. And that's where we kind of like spread everything out. And then it's easy to kind of put back because it's right there. But I know with time, like I'm not going to have enough space in there to keep all the crafts. Right. So I'm going to have to, that's going to be an evolving challenge for me. I also wanted to hit this too, talking about crafts with you. I'm like, I am not the fun mom with slime, or like, I will never allow slime in my house.
I think I'm with you with that because it's too much. I had for the first time, Jack played with that kinetic sand. I'm still finding it. I'm still finding it all over. I'm everywhere. Like, it's so dirty.
It's so dirty.
Send your kids to my house. There's definitely going to be slime. Like we've already done. You know me. I'm always knee deep in some garbage, but then it's really hard because it's extra supplies. It's extra stuff everywhere. And it does make a mess. And I don't know. I don't know what to do with it all. I'm looking at it everywhere right now. Like you said, so instead of it being in one spot, it's all over the place. Colton's crafts aren't always safe for Daisy. Like we found Daisy in my office the other day and she had permanent marker all over her face because she got into Colton's stuff. So we're in that area. And I know, Katie, I don't know if you've used this, but you use it too, right, Rachel? The archive. We've talked about this for their art.
Oh, best thing for like the preschool years, especially because that's when you're going to get the most art. Like it's all art in preschool.
I'm entering that phase then, right?
And you have an emotional Rachel,
so
maybe not you, but
what is the archive?
I do have an emotional attachment to those things, but like that's what's great about the archive because then you can put it all in one space and keep it all in a book and then look back on it. Like I have an emotional attachment to things like that and photos. Like you know me with my pictures. Like that's where I get my emotional attachment to. So they're like on my walls everywhere and in albums and like that's what So I do love that stuff.
Well, and I think for those of you who don't know what archive is and your kids are in preschool or whatever, because you do get the most art then. There was just a sale. I don't know if it's still going on for $14.99 for a box, but they send you this huge box and you throw all their art in it for a period of time. And then you send it in and they create a book for it. And you can decide, do you want just the fronts of the pictures, fronts and backs? It doesn't matter. And they will, it's like one place to store the art. And then it's another, then you send it in and you have the books. And the other thing I got, which I'm looking at them right now, is I did buy those frames off Amazon where you can change out the pictures.
I love those.
Because then you can like hang them on the wall that it's displayed. But when a new piece of art that they really love comes back, you put it in there and you can just keep replacing it and they feel good about it. So it's not all over, even though there's still art everywhere, all over your fridge or whatever.
Right. And Danielle and I were just talking the other day about those school year bins now. Those are awesome. And I just got mine. I didn't realize. So like I said, with preschool, it's good to do like those art books because you get the most art there. But I'm realizing with Maura now in first grade, they don't do nearly as much art, so you don't really need. But those bins are so nice because then you have the filing system to put every year. They're going to have like certificates, awards, all that. And then they also came with labels for like sports stuff. Because now I'm wondering like, what do I do with all these sports pictures and the sports certificates? And then they had one for like just school pictures. So you put all the school pictures in there. I was like, oh my God, this is an organizing dream.
And I love,
It's
but I
awesome.
need that, like for my brain, like I need to be able to know where to put it. And
Yes.
Katie, that's the thing I was working on. I'm working on creating my own like inserts to put on the fronts and stuff like that. So we'll link those out so that you guys
Yes.
I just
can
found one,
grab
of
those.
course, because I'm looking like, all right, what am I going to do? Because I see it coming, and I hate to
Yeah.
say it's a little different for me because I've already done this once. Jack will make like he'll go to like the community center and do the little craft or whatever and bring it home.
Yeah.
And right now, some of the ones I've thrown out, I'll be like, oh, that's at mommy's work because I have an office here, so he's never here. He would
Right.
never know.
So
So I
you
was like,
guys
oh,
are
it's at
good.
mommy's work. So I've said that a couple times, but then I'm like, I better like
See? Lines are
keep
good.
them here.
I
I
feel
don't
good
know.
lines.
Like that I've done that, and then I'm
I
like,
lied to
now
my
I'm like,
kids.
some
But
of
you
them
don't lie
I
to your
might
kids.
bring
It's for the
to
best.
work.
Yeah. Well, that's like those frames will be great for you, Katie, because you can actually bring them and
Yes.
it won't feel like it's
I
just
know. I
random
might like
crap.
put one up here at the office and do that. But I know we need to get into
I
too
know it's like
because
adult stuff.
I know. So Rachel, you're married to an accountant. You guys have a budget. We're talking about purchasing more things.
Yes.
So how do you keep all of your organization things within a budget
Yes.
that you're purchasing to keep organized?
It is so hard because from what I've come to realize with organizing, like when you watch the Home Edit, which is like they're my spirit humans, those two, Clea and what I'm obsessed with them.
Yes.
But in order to be like them, it's costs a fortune. Like in order to organize like with the same bins and the same this and like it's so hard. So I try very hard to just use what I have and use the space that I have. But it's hard. And it is, my neighbor actually pointed out, she's like, the fact that you are on a budget so tightly with your husband is probably what helps you to be even more minimalist. I'm like, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Because I can't, I'm not allowed.
Yeah, but it feels like you always have a refreshed look. Like, we like to refresh our homes. Rachel's house always looks refreshed, but I know what kind of a budget you're on with Joe. So it is kind of a miracle. And like, the minimalist, you mentioned it. Like, what is your stance on minimalism? Is it necessary, unnecessary? What do you think?
For me, it's necessary because it gives me like the most peace. I feel so overwhelmed if anything's getting too hoardy around my house, it makes me feel so overwhelmed. So like I have to be minimal because it gives me the most peace. I'm overwhelmed enough by my kids. Like I don't need anything else to overwhelm me.
Don't add more.
So I'm all about it. I've always been very minimal. Like I don't buy beyond what I need, which can kind of get annoying too, because it is nice to have like a stock of like things in reserve, but I literally can't handle that.
Well, you're so good with your clothes, Rach. So that was another question we wanted to ask you about because Katie and I have talked about like declutter your closet. It's on our list. Like not like, yes, our kids' closet, but I want to stress our closets because I think that's a big thing because kids grow out of clothes. We don't necessarily, right? So like your clothes, like how often do you do that? How do you know that you have enough or the right things? I don't know.
Right. I feel like I'm constantly doing that. Because I share a closet with my husband, which people think is insane. But again, like if I have like this, like I'm not going to buy like a bunch of like I already have a shirt like this, so I don't need to get another one. So I try to stay. And then if I do, like not to say I don't love to shop because I'm always shopping. I love clothes.
Yes.
I love to shop. So it's not that I'm not shopping because I am. But I'm good about if I go out and buy something, I'll purge something else in my closet at the same time. So I constantly have like the same amount going on in my closet because I buy, but then I also purge and I'll always like donate or give to a friend, or that's usually what I do with my stuff.
Yeah. But if you see Rachel always looks so good. She's always dressed well, but you do, but I've walked in your closet and it looks like, how are you living? Everything's like, it's so minimal, but like you always look nice. And then she walks into my closet once a year when I beg her to come over and feed her wine to clean mine out. And it's got to be she loves doing it, but it's so overwhelming,
fun.
I'm sure.
It's so fun though. Like it gives me so much joy to purge. It truly gives me joy.
But like, that's a good point. Like do the closet once, like maybe during this challenge, we do our closets once, everyone who's doing it. And then follow the Rachel rule, 1 in, 1 out.
Yep.
But
absolutely.
Like, it's going to be tough, but we could definitely do it.
Well, and it's even harder with living up here in where we are getting snow still. Like I share a closet with Ryan as well, so you're not alone on that.
There you go, yes.
Which does make you be more minimal to share the space, but we don't have like we have a walk-in closet, but it's not big. So I
Mhm.
have to swap out our clothes for the seasons because
Right.
I have to have like I have boots, all that stuff, but I put everything away and it kind
Yep.
of forces me. I've kind of narrowed it down that I just do it like kind of twice a year where I'll like coming up here, I'll do it for fall, winter, and it
Yep.
makes me purge at that time. Like
Yes.
anything first, because I look at everything for summer and I put it away. I'm like, am I going to wear that again? Like, did
Right.
I wear it this year even? And
Right.
Yeah.
that definitely helps. You guys luckily don't have to do as much of that, but that helps
Yeah.
me for sure. Like to have to actually flip my closet for the season, it
Yeah.
makes it easier to purge things.
It like forces you to look at it and really like
Yeah.
assess and think. Because yeah, I'll do that too. Coming up for fall and winter, I'll do that with my sweaters. I'll be like, did I even wear that like last season? And
Right.
then I'll just be like, nope.
Mhm.
So,
Exactly.
Bye. See you
bye.
next
See ya.
So as like, I want to make sure we ask you this. You mentioned the home edit. I know you love them, but like as a former teacher, as a mom, like, is there anybody we need to be like any like brands we need to follow, any stuff that we absolutely need or absolutely don't need, or just, words of advice that you think we should know about organization?
Oh, like with school coming up, you mean? Like in regards to
Yeah.
like the kids and how to organize them for school?
Yeah. Just like in general, like there's stuff, you think you need all this new stuff because they're going to school or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Like, is there anything
True.
that you're like, yes, invest in this, or no, like don't listen to the crew.
True.
You don't need it.
True. I'm trying to think of something from like last year because Mora first entered like the school age, like real school kindergarten last year. So, I mean, not really. You know what's this is gonna sound weird, but one thing that I noticed at her school in particular, they do a ton of spirit weeks,
Okay.
a ton. So you end up like kind of running out last minute to buy things for those spirit weeks. So I guess kind of having like themed, it's kind of good. Like sometimes I want to like go ahead and chuck some of the theme shirts that my kids have from like vacations and like things, but sometimes they end up needing those for like a spirit week or something.
So you keep the weird stuff.
It's
So
true. It's
I
true.
do like hold on. I ended up last year holding on to a lot of like weird like vacation t-shirts and things like that because I did end up needing them for random like dress up days at
I
school.
didn't even think about Spirit Week.
It was not something that ever crossed my mind because growing up, we only had like 1 week of Spirit Week. But these kids have a Spirit Week.
Blue.
Like, yes, these kids have a Spirit Week like every month. It's crazy. That was something that was eye-opening to me last year, making sure I had that like ready in her closet.
I'm just going to call you and be like, can I borrow this? Because
What
we
do you
definitely,
have?
I need it. Well,
Yes.
Is there anything else that you wish that you think the people should know about organization, like words of wisdom before we get into your new gig?
Well, going back to the home edit, I was trying to find something on Clea's Instagram because, like I said, she is my spirit human. She's so cutthroat. I love how cutthroat she is about things. And there was one post she had about playroom stuff and toys in particular that I was trying to find, but I couldn't find it. But she it's hilarious, her wording, because it's so true. She's like, because we tend to want to hold on to the stuff where we're like, oh, that's going to turn up. Like, we're going to find that missing puzzle piece. We're going to be able to fix this toy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hold on to it. No, you're not. Like, you're lying to yourself. You're never going to find that missing puzzle piece. You have a zillion other puzzles. Throw it out. You're never going to fix that toy that you have sitting over here. Get rid of it.
Yes.
So she's just so like, it's like, oh my God, that's so true. Like, why am I holding on?
I've heard you say things like that. And that is such a good point because
Yes.
I do that. I'm like, that was my favorite. That's our favorite toy. We'll find it. Like,
We'll find
no,
it.
you won't.
No, you won't.
5 years later, no,
Yeah,
I won't.
and that bee is going to be moved on to something else in like 5 minutes, and they're not going to care about it.
Right.
You're right. You're so right. Well,
That's my last piece of advice.
I love that advice. And I definitely want to get into
advice.
because I think with your organized nature, like education and home and life, I think for you, it was a natural, you love travel, that kind of thing, to go into this new venture. And I know people are always like, oh, travel agents, like Rachel went through, I want you to talk a little bit about it, but like, I know that you went through some very rigorous training to be able to do this. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing and what brought you there.
Yeah. So I've been, like we said before, I've been a stay-at-home mom now for like 6 years, which is crazy.
Wow.
And I do, with my passion of loving to organize and plan, I've been trying to find something to put my attention towards that's not just my kids. I needed something else to like put my energy into. So I've been thinking about it for a long time, and I do love to travel, and I want more opportunities now that my kids are getting older and it's easier to travel with them, to travel with them more. And I just want more of that. And I found Travelmation through actually an old coworker of mine that I worked with when I taught in Greenville. So she was a former teacher. And I was like, oh my God, this is such a good idea. And I never really thought about using a travel agent before because I didn't know much about it. But the biggest things about travel agents and using them is if you don't like the planning process and you don't like the organizing and it totally overwhelms you, like planning a trip, use a travel agent because they will handle all of that for you. And a travel agent is completely free because you don't have to pay me to do that work for you. We get paid on commission from the vendors that we use, like Sandals and Disney and any of the cruise lines. So that was another thing that I was like, oh, you don't even have to pay a travel agent to do it.
Yeah, like I didn't realize
That's a great
that.
point, though, that a lot of people don't know that, I feel.
Yeah, I don't think people know that. I didn't really know that.
Yeah.
So that's a really added bonus. And then travel agents will get like special perks and discounts and sales that you might not know about. And we'll be able to do that for you and find those things for you.
Well, and I think with traveling with kids, like you said, like also we've all traveled alone, but traveling with kids is a whole new thing. So
Yes.
knowing someone, you've taken all this, like, you know, the best places to go now or the places not to go. I think that's such a bonus.
Yes. Like the Travelmation family is huge. There's like over 400 travel agents in Travelmation. And we have a big group that we all share like recommendations. Like we've been here. This is great for this, this, and this. Or if you'd rather have this resort's so much better. So like we're constantly sharing expertise. So I've learned so much and the training is very intensive and that every vendor is different. So I've had to train specifically with Sandals and then you have to train specifically with Virgin Voyages. And then, so I've had to, in every booking engine is different for everyone too. So you have to get acclimated and all that, but it's been so fun. Like I've just really enjoyed it and I've enjoyed learning all the ins and outs of it. So I'm so excited to get started and help people plan their trips.
I know. I can't wait to hear about your trip.
Yes, and I'm finally taking a trip out of, Joe and I haven't taken, well, we've never gone away this long from our kids. So that's starting to make me feel a little uneasy, but it'll be fine. But we haven't traveled outside of the US since before we had kids. So, and then it's our 10-year anniversary this year. So I've been wanting to go abroad for that. So we're going on Virgin Voyages for a 7-night across the Mediterranean. So I'm so excited to experience that cruise line and be able to share my expertise now from that because I'll feel better, of course, sharing my expertise once I've actually experienced it myself too. So
good excuse to go. I love it.
Great excuse to go.
That'll be an amazing trip. But so quick advice for families that are looking to start planning travel for next year. I mean, some people probably haven't even looked for a Christmas break or anything like that. What's your advice? Right. How far out should people be looking to plan?
Sure. Something that I learned actually is that it's not even too late to, like this year, it's August. You still have time to plan that last minute, like Christmas trip to Disney or anything like that. There's usually deals that will continue to pop up every so often. Even if you feel like you're out of time, you could still do it now. And then already people are looking ahead to spring break of next year. Like the sooner you get on top of those vacations, the better, just so that, because that starts to get up
busier
and everyone's traveling in spring break. Everybody. Yeah, exactly. And summertime too. Summertime's so hot because of school being out. So definitely looking into that sooner rather than later is definitely advised. And then there's always deals going on. So you could get a good deal right now into next year.
And that's a great point of why you should work with a travel agent. They'll monitor it, give you, you'll be able to give us the inside tips of when something comes up.
Right.
And if you guys want the deals, follow Rachel. So Rachel, how can people get in touch with you? What's the best way?
Yes. So right now it's just strictly Instagram for me on social media. So I've started there with an Instagram account. And I was trying to play on words with my last name. So it's paradise_with_Pavone.
Love it.
So I'm having fun with that and juggling that Instagram. I've never done that, like had a business Instagram. So it's been a learning process, but it's been fun. So I'll be doing that for now and then hopefully launching a website at some point and getting in other areas of social media. But for now, I'm on Instagram with that account.
So paradise_with_Pavone. Follow Rachel because she'll probably be posting all the deals she's talking about right now.
Yes.
And you can contact her right through that. But Rach, I'm so excited to see where this venture takes you, because you truly are the most. And if you go to a kid's party, like when Rachel throws party, it's just so organized and beautiful. This is just going to be a perfect marriage of like,
thank you,
what you love doing and what you're great at doing, and like a thing that you like to do for fun as well. So I think this is gonna be really awesome. So thank you for helping us people that might not be as organized, aka me, with some tips and tricks. And we appreciate you coming on the podcast today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun. And I appreciate all of the Travelmation information out there, and always down and ready to help you organize on a wine night. You just let me know. I'll be over there.
Yeah, Rachel only needs wine. So if you're in the area, just give her a bottle of wine and we'll come over and I'll sit there.
Easily bribed with wine. Easily bribed with wine.
But I think it's time for us all to clock back into the 9 to 5. Rachel, you have more chaos than any of us. So Godspeed.
Hurricane Day. Yeah, here we go.
Yes. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Sounds good. Bye.